Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish.
Good afternoon. Gosh, it's Tuesday. Can you believe that? Transformational Tip Tuesday. Hey there, Patsy. I'm glad to see you. Listen, I will tell you something. I am getting ready for Thanksgiving. I know you are too, huh, Sharon? Good to see you. Hey, Sharon, thanks for popping by last night. I appreciate that a lot. Last night, I did a quick little thing going over some of our most popular products, telling you exactly what was what. So it is here on the page. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. If you want to go get that info, I'll give you kind of the 911 of what everything's about. So it's pretty cool stuff. Deborah's in the house too. It's nice to have you here. And of course, the Dream Team. Say hello to Amber, to Lindsay, and to Jenny. They're all here. Yay. We're all getting ready for Thanksgiving. Caroline said 5 minutes ago, I'm going to call you to go over the list because she's got the rest of the grocery shopping, just, odds and end things to do. And I said, no, you're not. We're having a show, girlfriend. And she said, well, how very rude. I need to talk to you. And I said, you'll just have to wait, won't you? Children, they think they're entitled to mama's attention all the time. Not true. Where's my Nancy? I think she's out on some kind of vacation, but cheers. Here's to Mother Hen, wherever she is, whoever she's visiting. Hello, lovely Jackie is in the house as well. And our Deborah, of course. I said hello, I believe. And we're gonna get so busy today. I've really got a good one for you, I think. Especially because some of us are coming together and we're having what I would call precarious Thanksgiving tables. You know what I mean? I'm talking about when we are having people and we're just hoping everything, everything's going to go well. Keep the conversation very, let's just say not too, deep, because sometimes it can get bad. There's always something sometimes with some of these family gatherings, but we're going to talk about this a little bit and maybe have a different viewpoint of why we do what we do. I know you're going, what are you talking about? You'll see. You'll see. Now, I'm going to hope that by now you've already picked up your Thanksgiving menu. Have you? All I'm going to tell you right now is we've got all the menus. We have all the recipes, the shopping list, the timeline, even how to decorate from the grocery store. We have all of that. And we also have every style imaginable. You can find it all at savingdinner.com/Thanksgiving. Go pick that up, And there's a whole choice of what to do. You can download them all if you want. That's totally up to you. But everything is there to make it better, to make your Thanksgiving go better. And I will tell you, there's one little tidbit that I will give you, even if you're saying, oh, Leanne, I always use my own stuff or whatever. Still, go download it so you can use our Thanksgiving timeline. The timeline is absolutely chef's kiss perfect. It really is. Worked hard on it. This is the work my mother and I put together ourselves way back. We put this together back in 2005. 2005. Yeah. I could tell you all kinds of stories. My mother was my best editor. And I say that having worked with some of the biggest publishing houses in the world. My mother was my best editor. So take that. Take that, Random House. All right, what else can I tell you? I can also tell you that Black Friday is here. It is here. And so many of you are taking big advantage of these sales, and you should be, because It's the best sale that we have of the year. I've noticed a few of you getting your supplements for the year, and that's brilliant because you're getting them literally at 50% off. If this is something that interests you, go to savingdinner.com/Friday. That's all you have to do, or Black Friday, whatever you want to do. And you also don't have to get them for the year, but I'm just letting you know this is a good way to get everything going. Remember, our supplements, we're small batch manufacturer. We make small batches of our supplements, and those small batches of supplements will keep you going for the year, especially for things like, and I will tell you right now, this is something you should be stocking up on because there's no such thing as too much infocrusher. There isn't. And you should have one of these in your, if you have muscle issues, joint issues, whatever, you should have one in your purse and one on your countertop and take it with your supplements. You should. Because this is going to protect your liver, protect your kidneys, and not cause you any stomach upset, not cause you any kinds of health risks or contraindications. It's just going to take care of the inflammation. It's such a good stuff. Such good stuff. Hi, Lily. I'm glad you're here. So I'm going to give you a quote that I think is something, I think it's brilliant. First of all, it's from Zig Ziglar. You remember Zig Ziglar, right? I used to laugh at him because he's so corny. Years and years ago, I saw him in the 80s, and I saw him give his presentation. It was really good, but like he'd get on his knee and he'd do all kinds of stuff. And I was like, this guy's just a little bit of something, isn't he? Really great guy. Later on, when he was very old and he had also suffered a fall, he was actually in, I think, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I was at a conference and I had a chance to sit down and talk to him. And he'd had his conversational ability had been somewhat limited because he had a little brain damage from the fall. And his daughter was there helping him complete thoughts, complete sentences. But when I sat down and talked to Zig, it was just Zig and I, and just a simple conversation, a couple of words passed back and forth. And so when I see a Zig Ziglar quote, I always think of him, and I always think of what a gentleman he was, how gentle and quiet his spirit was, and just how impactful a life of living this kind of positivity has been. And you could just see it was all over his demeanor. It was really something to behold. And his quote is, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." That was the type of clipped speech that he had. He was full of these little nuggets, and they're all true. They were all true. And of course, we have a lot more nowadays. We're talking more about the brain and how the brain works, and when we understand how the brain works, how we can step into a different life simply by manipulating our own brains. Well, Zig didn't do that as much. He was just more about those dropping the little truth bombs on you. And but again, his presence was felt even after having the brain damage that he did. His presence was felt, and when he died, we lost a great man. A great man. I know, isn't he so wonderful, Lily? So lovely. Hi, Lynn. I'm so glad you're here. So anyway, I just want to make sure, one, we're getting really close to the end of our Black Friday sale, so go take advantage of that. Hey, Chris, I'm glad you're here. Go take advantage of that. That's at savingdinner.com/Friday. Go get yourself stocked up. You will not regret it. This is one of the habits I certainly hope everybody starts to pick up, is taking their supplements. This helps you to feel at your top best. That's number one. Number two, Thanksgiving menus are available for you still. savingdinner.com/Thanksgiving. They'll be gone after Friday, but they're there now. Go get them. Go get them. And that's all I have for you right now. Let's get down into the business of today and talk about all this different stuff, because we have to sometimes get through negative thinking. And sometimes, have you noticed this? Sometimes we block our negative thinking. We think, oh, somehow this is all going to be better. I'm going to give you an example. For example, having people over to your house for Thanksgiving. Oops, let's bring on TikTok, because they like a little live something. There you go. There we go. Hello. Hello, TikTok. We're talking about negative thinking and getting through it, not just getting through it, but also triumphing over it. And Buddha says this: we want happiness, but we choose suffering. I think that's interesting. It's true. We do choose suffering when we understand that the things that we are experiencing are based upon choices and decisions that we've made about ourselves of what to do. Then maybe we're going to have a slightly different attitude about the whole thing. I don't know. I think so. Hey, Alice. So, but psychologists, listen to this. This is where things shift. Psychologists believe the reason we return to our suffering is that we want a better outcome. Isn't that the truth, though? And this can probably explain your Thanksgiving table and a number of people's Thanksgiving tables all over the universe. It's true, because we have this notion that this time it'll be different. This time I can redo it. This time I can fix it, and we can have Uncle Bob not sit next to Jimbo over here so that we don't have that kind of tension at the table like we did last year. We're trying to recreate. We're making an attempt, if you will, to re-script what it could possibly be. And we want the best, shiniest outcome, don't we? Of course we do. That's how that whole thing works. So one of the things that we do is we hold on so that we can figure it out. And we also hold on to figure out how we can possibly let all of this stuff go. That's what this whole thing is about. Because we're always making choices. Like I said, we're always making choices, and we're thinking about the pain rather than experiencing it when we're in this kind of a zone. But we're thinking about how can we figure this out. So, like I said, changing the way that you have your seating chart, for example, might do it. And this is also why we procrastinate, by the way. We hate confrontation. This is why we'll have people over and we'll not say anything, and we'll just kind of shift things around and hope for the best. We're trying for a re-script. We're trying to write out a different outcome instead of what we have. Isn't that fun? Is it? Sometimes it is. But here's the thing that's interesting is that we become, this is what psychologists say, that oftentimes we become really deeply attached to painful thoughts. So much so that they become our identity, or even worse, we become addicted to this pain, which is scary. That's really scary. It's because it's what's known. And we always go back to what is known, even if it's not in our best. There's bugs behind your eyes. Get them out with a spoon. That's just weird. I don't know. Some dude on TikTok. Okay, so, what do you think about that? Do you think that we are addicted to this stuff? So here's a thought, though, that we can do to give up some of this negative ruminating. For some, it means to give up their identity. Think about that. Because oftentimes we will identify with stuff that's just not in our best interest, but we identify things with things that are known. And if we have lived in a place of like physical or even emotional, any kind of abuse, that's something that's a known quantity. And believe it or not, even our amygdalas, even though that's the fear center of our brain, right? And they're always saying no, risky, dangerous. Also, your amygdala doesn't like change. It doesn't like change at all. So here's what we got to do. I've got 6 things that'll probably ring true for you. You ready? Number 1 is think about back to front thinking. That means from here to there is back to front thinking. And we're talking about going from the very most primitive part of your brain all the way to the front, where this is your prefrontal cortex, that this is where all the critical thinking is done. The abstract thinking, the complex thinking, where you can figure things out. Instead of just having a knee-jerk reaction, you've taken a minute to breathe in, breathe out, and choose to let go of something or figure something out. Do you see what I'm saying with all of that? When we do this, we bring in awareness. We are no longer in the the place of being absolutely gobsmacked by this whole thing and knee jerking our way through, we are able to parse the complexity and figure out exactly what it is that we need to do. That's the golden ticket right there. Number 2 is we need to see the negative loops. We all create these in our brains and in our lives, and we experience them on repeat. So if you see a negative loop and you see yourself creating yet another one, or going back and recreating the one that you've already had, acknowledge it. Acknowledge, oh, there's that negative loop. I got caught and I'm the one doing it. I mean, that's the kind of thing that you look at it. And you know what you can do with that oftentimes is when you see that, you can just kind of laugh at it and just let it go, because it doesn't make sense. And when you see it, acknowledge it, and talk about it, then it's easier to let it go. And we don't have to re-experience this over and over and over again. And number 3, ask why, but in a constructive way. Not like, why is this always happening to me? But ask why. What if I let go of this thing that's in the negative loop? What if I let go of this fantasy that I have about Thanksgiving, and maybe next year I don't, invite Uncle Bob, who's just an alcoholic and is going to ruin everything? Because sometimes we have a quest, and our negative loop is trying to have a hero situation and fix everything and make everything good, then it's just not going to happen. That's just how it is with some people. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you decide to let go of the negative loop, then you know what to do. You know the fixes that are involved with letting that stuff go, and it makes a big, big difference. Number 4, feel and don't think. I don't often say that, because I think oftentimes we really need to get into the thinking part of what is going on with our feelings. But in this case, we think to solve and avoid, okay? But if you sense how you feel, you can acknowledge and move on steps from number 2, which is, number 2 is to see the loop and acknowledge it, right? This is really helpful stuff, because the negativity that a lot of us experience and a lot of us are kind of put through is stuff that we put ourselves through, is stuff that we place ourselves into, which makes it difficult. Number 5 is clap, and say that's enough. Okay, so one of the things that we have discovered about our brains is that sometimes we need to get our brain's attention. So one of the things that we have done, and I'm explaining this on TikTok for those of you who don't know this, for those of us who've had problems with food and problems with eating too much and always managing to figure out rationalizing how to do things, going into the kitchen and going, kitchen is closed, is a way to ignite and to reactivate your brain into saying, no, we're not going to start this rationalization process. No, we're not going to start this whole back and forth, should I or shouldn't I, shouldn't I? Can't do that when the kitchen's closed, right? You can't go get an ice cream if the ice cream place is closed, can you? Don't tell me about the grocery store, but you know what I'm saying. This is exactly what this is what this is about, because you don't have to put up with this if you make a decision against it. And when you say out loud, you close the kitchen of your mind. You do. You close the kitchen. You just say, no, this is not a discussion anymore. I'm going to the next thing. And number 6 is, what will I lose and what will I gain? Take a look at that, because all you're doing is opening up. Instead of glossing over, instead of skipping over, you're coming back to this. This is the conundrum. Should I or shouldn't I invite negative, Uncle Bob, the alcoholic, to my Thanksgiving table? Or in this idea of recreating and re-scripting it so everybody feels included? Or do I make a decision not to it? What will I lose if I don't invite him? What will I gain if I don't invite him? Those are the questions that you ask yourself. And then you go back to this whole thing. What is your identity anyway? What is this about? That you're the victim, that you're the hero, that you need to fix everything, you need to make everything right for everyone? Is that really it? But I say that we go back to this part of our identity. Who am I? In whose image am I made? Who says that I'm the apple of his eye? Why am I fearfully and wonderfully made? Why am I here? Am I here on purpose and for purpose? And why now? All of these questions have one answer, and it's you are here on purpose and for purpose. And the answer to that is to show up as authentically as you can in your own little human bodysuit and become the woman that you've always wanted to be, the queen of your life. And you do this by not glossing over this stuff, not getting back into the negative loops that we all do, not trying to be a hero for somebody else who's just decided they're not going to do their part to correct some things, but instead you decide that you're the hero of your own life, that you're the queen of your own life, and that you have everything to gain by simply stepping into the authentic person of who you are. You're here on purpose and for purpose. What more could there be? Isn't that so good to know? So don't get sucked in by the negativity. It's always there. It's always going to be there. There will always be someone or something that will want to suck you down into that path, but you have the ability to have a conversation with yourself, to start it all over again, and to get rid of it, period. It doesn't have to rule over you. How do you like that? Isn't that so true? It is so true. Amber said, loving this. This is so true. It is true because we've all experienced it, and we've all tried so hard to help everyone along and to have the best possible time. Because let's face the facts. We all have this vision of having just the perfect holiday time together. Well, then take it on yourself to be at least the hero of your own journey and take out anything negative that doesn't belong there. Okay? All right. Peace be with you. I appreciate you. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.